Rob Jurcek, OneCloudX. The topic I'd like to focus on today is the selection process when you're looking at an ERP solution. Now, when you're looking at an ERP, whether it's SAP or NetSuite or Epicor or Pronto or whatever it is out there, ask the question, why are you actually costing hardware and software separately? Now, there's red flags that usually come to me and pop up when I get asked, and the reason being is if they're actually costing hardware for you, ask the question, am I actually on that hardware on my own? Because if they're sizing that hardware specifically for you, then in most cases you're probably on a single tenant solution where the source code that resides on that hardware is only isolated to you and nobody else. Now that comes with actual issues down the track, especially if you're heavily modifying the solution with custom code, because what happens is that if you need to upgrade down the track, the upgrade process becomes a bit difficult because you're the only one on that environment, and therefore as a result there could be issues when it comes to upgrading because other customers aren't experiencing those issues. So that's the first one, is modifications. The second one is if you actually identify a bug or a defect in the actual core solution. Because you're the only one on that infrastructure and you're the only one on that environment, if you can't replicate that issue, the vendors unfortunately is unable to actually help you and fix the problem, right? And this compares to that of in an environment where many customers are utilizing the same infrastructure, are on the same hardware, like that of a multi-tenant solution. Now, in a multi-tenant solution, everybody shares the same source code. Everybody shares the same level of infrastructure. And as a result, if there are any issues on that infrastructure, or if there are any issues on the source code or defects that you find, it's most probable that all the other customers out there will also find those same issues in the source code. And by mass, the vendor will be able to then have the pressure to be able to solve those as soon as possible, compared to that if you're on a single tenant or on your own infrastructure. So if your vendor's giving you separate costs for software and hardware, ask the question, why? Am I the only one on the infrastructure? Second question to ask, how did the upgrades happen if I'm the only one on that infrastructure? And third question to ask is, what happens when I have volume changes? If I end up having more orders, more transactions, what happens to that situation? Do I get moved on that infrastructure, and so on and so forth? Because vendors from an ERP perspective should really cost the hardware and the software as one cost to you without them even having to worry about, or you having to worry about the hardware side of it. So I hope this information is informative to you and to enable you to ask the right questions to your vendor or vendors during the ERP selection process. I hope you have an amazing day. Take care.